Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Healing from Within with me, your host, Keryn Rose, and another gorgeous, very special guest from up top of the world. Let me introduce you to Monica. Say hi, Monica.
Hello, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you, Keryn, for inviting me to your show.
Oh, look, it's exciting. For listeners, Monica also has her own podcast on the same platform that has mine, which is Triple Four Media. So, Monica, just in 5 words or less, share with the listeners what your podcast is all about.
So, the name of my podcast is Ascended Earth, the Transfiguration of the New Human. And it's really all about the ascension and the Great Awakening. And I go really in deep with a lot of different talks, different channelings. So, it is pretty intense and out there.
Look, I tell you what, for those that vibe with that energy, of which I am one, gosh, some of the information you share is just mind-blowing for me. It really, really is. And look, today I've invited you into my little playground, as I like to call it, to ask you, as you know, my podcast is called Healing from Within. And it is my belief that we are all born with this innate ability, given that we are a spark from that divine essence, call that divine essence what you will. We have this ability to heal ourselves from within. Now, when
Yes.
I say to you, what does the term healing from within mean to you? What would you say?
I would say it's really just healing in whatever magical, mystical, and spiritual tools you have within yourself, because we all carry our own spiritual gifts and we're all of divine source, which makes us, the co-creators. So that means that we have the creative force of energy within ourselves to be able to find a way to heal ourselves. And of course, we can also get help from our friends in nature, like the trees and the creatures, the animals, the birds, for instance, like their music and their songs. Studies have shown that it also produces healing in us. And the arc field of the trees have also shown scientifically of the healing that it produces as well. Because, as I say, that we have all these tools within ourselves, sometimes we don't see it because we get so buried. If we're going through a depression, for example, like really intense grief, we don't want to like really look at ourselves or deal with it.
Yeah.
So I would say like the best way to get started to help us, be a catalyst for that healing in ourselves would be nature, which is what I did. After I went through my divorce, I went through these very deep depression. So it was very hard for me to just say and sit there, right? Here's all my tools, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, what I'm loving about what you're sharing is that acknowledgement that everything is energy. Everything is energy. The clothes you're wearing today are energy that are vibing at a
Mhm.
frequency that look like the clothes you're wearing.
Yes.
Color is energy that we see.
Mhm.
Sound is energy that we hear. It and nature, even the beauty of nature to see with our physical eyes
Yes. Yes.
can be enough for us to go, ah, or we might go, wow. It's in that moment that, it's got nothing to do with our cognitive awareness. It's
Mhm.
that realization, and it's experiential. It's something we feel. Go out in nature and you will simply feel different. It's
Very much
amazing the
true.
number of hospitals that will take their patients, in inverted commas, out into just outside. Gosh, I
Mhm.
can remember taking my stepfather outside when I used to go and visit him. I'd grab the
Mhm.
wheelchair and I'd simply take him outside. And he'd say, oh, I can see the sky.
Yes.
And, that's simple. And he didn't have to do anything, okay, yes, I wheeled him out. But that connection is
Yes.
just, oh,
It's so true. Like I was just recently like on an airplane when I was coming back. And I was sitting in the aisle, and the guy next to me had the windows down, the shades to the window down. And usually when I sit in the window, I like to open it up because I like to look at the sky and the clouds and all the
So do
different
I.
colors.
Yes.
But it was just driving me like a bit nuts because in a way, though, I felt kind of disconnected. I couldn't look out the window because he had the shades down. And I noticed that whenever we take off, that just looking outside helps calm and soothe me. So,
Indeed.
so when he had the shades down, I wasn't feeling like as relaxed. So I had to like really take a deep breath and just visualize and imagine that I was looking at the sky, or I looked at the guy behind me had his window open. So I looked at that window
Well, I
and
was
that
just about
helped.
to ask,
But
what did you do about
yeah,
it in that moment? And you've answered that question. Yeah,
yeah, but I was about to tell him, hey, can you open up your shade? But then he ended up opening it.
he heard you. He felt that message go
Yes,
from your energy field to his energy field. But again,
yes,
a little bit of a sidebar, but
yes.
telepathy. Yes, that's the word I'm
Yes,
looking
telepathy. But it's all related though to what you're saying, right?
for.
When you're like
Absolutely.
going
Yes.
outside, you look at the sky and it's like you feel like that visual or that, imagery of just nature itself and like the outdoors and just being able to like look outside is that energy connection to help us, calm us down. Like if we're going through certain anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Um, nature helps as that balancing force, that harmonic because we are nature, we are part of nature, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is all about those frequencies. You can call it simply energy, but we are talking about frequencies. And
Yes.
we are simply a whole bunch of frequency that is zipped up in
Mm-hmm.
this vessel that we call the human body. And it literally, when I hear my words vessel, I see a container that has something
Mm-hmm.
in it, as opposed to being a human.
Yes.
It just, for me, being a very visual
Mm-hmm.
person, sets up a totally different image. And it's very
Yes.
powerful. So I'd love to ask you, what does the word healing mean to you?
Hmm. So for me, it's just a restoration of our true self, like our divinity. So if we feel out of balance, then we feel like unhealthy, right? Like if we feel like sad and depressed or something, then it's just for me that's out of balance because our true nature, our true divinity is love and it's joy and it's being at peace, and happiness. But however, because of our complexity of being human, it takes us, out of that alignment. And so we can feel unhealthy in that way. And so healing is that restoration of our true divinity within ourselves. So bringing in that joy vibe and uplifting and shifting into, higher frequency, which is the joy vibe,
Yeah.
which is love in action.
What I loved about what you're saying is you went straight into the feels. When you're feeling and you listed off these emotions, which is, again, is simply energy in motion, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a flow of energy that at some time in our life, and typically it's going to be when we're little, we've labeled it. When I'm feeling this, I am feeling sad. When I'm feeling this. And often parents would look at their children and say, are you feeling angry? Are you feeling sad? And you think, oh, okay, if I'm feeling this, it's called this. And we box it and label it. But it's simply
Mm-hmm.
energy that's flowing.
It
And
is,
we,
yeah, it's energy.
yeah, and we know what makes us feel good and we know what
Mhm.
doesn't.
Yes,
So I'm hearing from you that when you're feeling less than joyful, there is something we can do about it. Is that correct?
of course. It's our choice by our own will.
That's interesting that you said, well, of course it is. Yeah. It's amazing the number of people that either don't really understand that, believe that, or feel that they can. So for you, what would be, if you're feeling off, is a word that I will use, what would be the thing, what would be your go-to action to take to start this innate healing process for you?
Well, it would depend, right, on the situation. Like if I'm in like an area, right, that I'm feeling really a lot of anxiety and unhappy, I just take a step back and really just try to like go somewhere else, where I can, if I can go outside in nature, I will go do that first. If you're not around nature, of course, you can find something else to do, like listen to music, right? That is very soothing. And it helps to like reset and shift your perception also. Because in that shifting, you're also looking at things from a different way. Because sometimes it's really about our perception, how we are feeling in that moment. If we're feeling unhappy about something, what's making us unhappy? And so, in that moment, music does help, balance us as well as nature, being out in tree or like journaling, writing down what we're feeling and also releasing and letting go that way through our journaling. But really just like taking a step back, right? And really just assessing the situation, but observing it, without judging it. I know it's like a very challenging thing to do. And
Particularly when you're in
but
it. Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But really just for me it's just taking a break from it, because if you're going to stay in that situation, right, that's really like, lowering your frequency in whatever way that is, then you're just going to keep spiraling in that direction. So it's best to just kind of take a break from it, take a step back and just take, a breath and just really just like let it, release it out of yourself, and let nature or music, journaling or breath work or yoga or doing some exercise help you to transmute that so that you
So
can look at it from
I'm hearing
perception.
movement. You're inviting that person to engage in an activity, whether it be the breath work, whether it be the journaling, whether it be even
Mhm.
the stepping back. The physical step back
Yeah.
is enough to break that energetic flow
Oh,
that is
yes.
at the moment.
Yeah, you don't want to be like in that situation always, because then it's just going to become your world, you
Yeah.
see. And
Yeah,
so
and
it's better.
again, a lot, I feel a lot of people don't appreciate the power of the simple things.
Mm,
Um, a child, when it's in a situation that they're not feeling comfortable in, will naturally leave it. They will look for a way to escape because something within them says it's not good for me in this space. For example, in a playground, something happens and someone gets upset and they run away. They don't. I don't believe it's a cognitive thing. I believe it's an innate. This space is
mhm.
good for me. Let's go. So from an adult's perspective, we forget that we've still got that little kid in us.
Mhm.
And it's like we allow ourselves to get sucked into this space. And
Yeah.
I love the actions that you are sharing because it is asking us to get that energy moving in a different way.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
do
Because
you do on a daily basis to have this ability, this innate healing ability flowing within you? What actions do you take every day? What's your routine, for want of a better word?
well, meditation every morning, journaling, when I can, throughout the day. But just really dedicating sacred space for that, tune up and that balancing of self, whether that be through meditation or just going out, hanging out with friends. Sometimes they do, especially with friends who you resonate with and are, in the same vibe, tribe as you, soul tribe.
Yeah.
And get you. But really they also charge you. You charge one another, right? It's not somebody who's gonna be draining you.
Absolutely. We have, and again, it's interesting the number of people that would spend time, and time, as you know, is a very precious resource of ours,
Yeah.
spend it either in an environment they don't like or with people. When I say don't like, they simply don't feel that joyous feeling. So it's having
Mm,
a dampening effect on them. And they
yes.
stay there,
Yes.
and you think, again, a child would not. a child would, you try and sit at even a family gathering, they're precious, with kids, and the kids just want, I want to go outside and play. This is boring.
Yeah.
The number of conversations that'll come out.
Well, I'm kind of like the child too. I'll get bored.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you're connected with yourself. You're switched on enough to go, okay, I'm bored now. What's next? And then take action. It's that continual seeking of that energy field that makes you go, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is fun.
Yes.
That's you vibing in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
So trying out like new things too, like in your life that would excite you, right? What would be your highest excitement? You got to think that we all still have our inner child. It's been through some wounds, right?
Well, it never leaves us. It's every birthday that comes up, I remind myself, Keryn, you're still 10, you're still 15, you're still 22.
Yes.
Now I'm in my 60s. I'm thinking, oh, it's getting
but your heart is like 60 years old, right? You're like sweet 16.
But that part of me is still within me. If I can sit and allow myself to go, oh yeah, I am still that person. That person is a part of me. And it's precious. And for me, I can find it very healing, particularly when I connect to parts of my life that there was much joy and happiness. Because a memory, again, is simply an energy, isn't it? That's part of our story that we sit in and go, oh, and literally relive it. As we can relive the not so nice stuff, we can relive the good stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, look, as much as I would love to keep yabba dabba doing with you, I'm going to bring this wonderful sharing to an end. So I'm going to ask you to leave with our listeners one action that they may like to try and add to this energetic toolkit for when they're feeling just blah, just not themselves. What would be something you would invite them to try and see if it's successful for picking up their vibe?
I say do something fun in your life, still, get in touch with your inner child in that playful mode. What would your little self want to do right now that would be different? Something very diverse and fun, something that you may not have tried, before that you've been wanting to do. I say this is your time to do it. This is your confirmation. Go have fun. Go do something, that gives you your highest excitement and that will keep your life going, exciting, fun.
And very much activate that innate healing ability within us.
Yes.
Cool. Look, honey, it's been just a joy sharing with you. And I'd like to invite you to have another conversation one day with me that we can share with the listeners. And as I'd like to sign off with my listeners, until we meet again.
Thank you.
May your day be full of the magic that is you, wherever you may be. Everything in this world is energy, and that includes you. Remember, you are the most important person in your world, and you came into this life with all the tools you will ever need to support your healing from within. Let the healing begin.